Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Tonight I want to throw a little bit on Joe Biden and the top secret documents, or the documents that have been found in his possession, both at a personal residence and in other locations. And I want to throw two readings on it. One, how is he feeling about this whole situation? And then I'm going to follow it up with what might be the potential repercussions as this thing plays out. I know that a lot of the right-wing media is going to jump all over this. They're going to claim hypocrisy. And, for Trump it's a crime, for Biden it's just an honest mistake. That type of thing. And it's the victimization trope that the Republicans have been using for years, actually decades. But it's just been more prevalent and in your face over the last several years. But I want to find out now, how is Biden feeling about this? Obviously, a special counsel's been named. They'll look into it, as well they should. These documents weren't supposed to be there. They were there. Why were they there? How did they get there? And how do you prevent something like that happening again? Now, again, for political reasons, it doesn't seem to matter to some people that Biden seems to be cooperating with the Department of Justice. They alerted them that the documents need to be turned over. He wasn't fighting subpoenas and stuff like that. So it's real obvious there's differences, but this is politics and messaging, and that has nothing to do with objective reality, apparently. So, okay, so how is Biden feeling about all this? This card wants to come out right there, so I'm going to put that right on top. I don't know what that is, but that's the one that wants to come out, so out it comes. Not a bad card. Eight of Swords. He's feeling like he's being held hostage over this. What's that going to be crossed with? The Fool. Now, whether it's because that was a foolish thing to have happen, or it's a new journey, it's a new experience for him, we'll find out what that crossing of the Fool is. But right now, he knows it's a political game. It's a political hostage situation that he's in. And there's not much he can do about it other than let it play itself out. And that's probably what the Fool is representing. Is like, okay, here's a new journey. We're going to let this play itself out and see where it takes us. So in the past, we had the Ten of Pentacles. That's going to be, his successful political career, his successful family life, and everything that it was basically defining the Biden administration up until this moment, where these documents came through. And I understand the Republican hypocrisy, or certainly the kindest way to put it, or nicest way to put it, would be skepticism. It would be skepticism if they actually believed there was a good explanation for it. They don't. They just want to culture war this. Maybe one day we'll get a Republican Party or a center-right party that actually can be skeptical as opposed to cynical. Current situation, Four of Cups. Offers that he doesn't like. So, these, maybe it's, how to say it? One of the things that I find troubling with this situation are people trying to make excuses. Like, maybe these documents were planted. That's, okay. If you got evidence that suggests that they're planted, then you can go ahead and bring that up as speculation. But if you do it without evidence, then you're no better than what the Republicans have done for the previous 4 years of the Trump administration. You're coming up with conspiracy theories that are half-baked, unbelievable, and partisan. So, this, again, I think this Four of Cups it's just a situation that's just not getting any better. It's, we found documents here. Oh, guess what? We found documents in your personal residence too. And he's just looking like, I cannot believe this. How can I get so much bad news? How could this be dropped by so many people on so many levels that I'm now exposed and vulnerable to accusations of hypocrisy? The current thing, King of Pentacles. That's the current energy over it. For a lot of readers, King of Pentacles could be Trump. And I think that might be the case here, is like now he's being compared to Donald Trump. And there's not a good I can't think of any good times where you're being compared favorably with Donald John Trump. But that's what he has to deal with right now because he's being compared with Trump. They both had documents they weren't supposed to have. They handled it completely differently, but that's the comparison. The energy going forward, the lesson to be learned is action. You have to have a plan. You need to go forward with your plan and not be a victim of circumstance. Okay, you got a plan? Go forward with this journey. So he's dealing with the fallout of those comparisons, but don't let that derail whatever it is that you're trying to do as a presidency and put a plan together to get ahead of this whole situation. Outcome, Two of Pentacles, juggling. You've got, and just as I was explaining, you've got multiple things you need to do now. You had your agendas that you were trying to get through. You want to be able to negotiate as best you can with the Republicans in Congress so that you can get your agenda items through there. But at the same time, you're going to have to deal with the circus that is this classified documents. You're going to have to deal with special counsel in the Department of Justice. And you can't just ignore this. You're going to have to deal with it. And I don't think he's going to ignore it. I think he will deal with it. But it's what he has to go through. And as you can see by the waves at the bottom of this card, it's going to be rocky going for a while there. But nothing in here shows me depression or defeat or anything along those lines. And underneath it all is the Nine of Pentacles. That's appreciating what you have, the wealth and the comfort that you have, and that you're deserving of that wealth and comfort. I don't look at that as him feeling undeserving. I think that he's a formidable political foe, and he knows that his political opponents are going to try and weaponize this type of situation. But he's going to have to take a step back and say, that's not true. That's not me. I need to come up with a plan so I can continue to govern in this way and not be, compared. Well, you're no better than Trump, aren't you? Because he is actually better than Trump. Almost anybody is better than Trump. There are some people who are worse. And the people who are worse than Trump are the ones who enabled him, the ones that tried to take advantage of that man and his weaknesses and his foibles to advance their own agendas. Those are the truly evil people and the truly selfish and egotistical people in this world. The ones that wanted an authoritarian government. The ones that wanted an American oligarchy. The ones that don't care for 99.9% of the citizens and they only care about the 0.1 and they want to be the 0.1. They're setting up the rules so they could be the 0.1 in charge. They want royalty and they want to be the royalty. They want to be the dukes and the lords and the noblemen while the rest of us are peasants. The cheaper, the poorer, the better. Okay, so how is this going to play out? Okay, so Spirit, we know how Biden's feeling about this. Now, how is this going to play out? Is there going to be something that happens with this, or is this, to quote certain people, a nothing burger? Basically, all much to do about nothing. Is this a political rice cake? Looks like it's substantial, but it's nothing but air and not very satisfying when you're all said and done. Shuffle. What's going to be the outcome of all this? What's going to be the outcome of all this? Queen of Wands. Okay. Somebody's going to be looking at it. We're dealing with it. Don't know if that's a judge. Let's see, where I would do a 4-card or 6-card on this one. Let's do a 6-carder. In the past, the Star. Current situation, the World. Look at all these major arcana jumping up here. Here's your King of Pentacles again. In that current situation. Lesson to be learned is the Page of Pentacles. And then moving to calmer waters. And underneath, the Ace of Cups. Wow, this is actually this is going to be a hard time. There's going to be, think of the Queen of Wands as being a lot of scrutiny and a lot of action. So think of this as like the Department of Justice looking into things, interviewing people on the Biden team, interviewing people in the National Archives, and looking at all this work, all this action to find out, okay, what happened and how did it happen? Now, in the past, we had hope. I don't know if this is Biden's reputation prior to that, or this is, I think this is about Biden's reputation. This is about, hey, this guy was doing great, but now all of a sudden, no, he's not holier than thou. Their mistakes can happen with him too. It can happen with anybody. And this investigation is going to impact. It's going to impact Biden, but it's going to be that connection between Biden, Trump, the documents, the whole life cycle of those documents, from when they're created to when they're stored to when they're checked out. This thing is going to be looked at from beginning to middle to end, and they will come up with corrective actions to prevent this from happening again. That's it, and it's going to impact, it impacts the world. What happens in the United States happens throughout the world. So that's something to be to consider, just how much influence and impact the U.S. actually does have throughout the world. Current situation, again, Trump's going to put his he's going to put a spanner in the works and try and make this all about him and how he's being victimized unfairly by the Justice Department. That's going to be a theme through this whole thing. Now, it could also very well be that once they've reviewed all this, they're going to find out that Trump's case and Biden's case are not the same. It's a difference between, driving 66 miles an hour on the freeway and driving 100 miles an hour on the freeway. Both are technically speeding. One's way worse than the other, and they can't be treated the same. Lesson to be learned, Page of Pentacles. This, it's kind of a naivete. Your messaging, this is, you have to get, I think, again, this is one of those things that you have to get in front of the story. You have to get the narrative out there. Otherwise, the way to look at it is what? A lie goes around the world 10 times before the truth gets out of bed in the morning. That's kind of what this is. That's what this is telling me. This is the lesson to be learned, that you can't sit on things. Now, mind you, the Biden administration, when they discovered the documents, they let the DOJ know immediately. They let the National Archives know immediately, who alerted the DOJ, and so on and so forth. But the Biden administration had weeks, they had months to get on this and get a message out to make it a no big deal thing once the news broke. They didn't do that, and now it's a giant kerfuffle. Outcome, it's going to go away. There's no here. There's nothing here. It's going to be choppy for a while. They'll have the Republicans will make Benghazi moments out of it. They'll have their investigations and their accusations, and they'll go on their favorite news channels and their favorite social media platforms and just make a giant mess. They'll try and make a big deal out of this. This is all going to be playing on the emotions of their base, playing on people's emotions. But in the end of the day, this person's very fair-minded. They're going to look at everything, and they will make a judgment. Now, my personal take is that Biden is not going to get in trouble out of this. But if there is, top secret documents or documents that were never meant to leave, secured rooms and things along those lines, if those are there, he needs to be held accountable for it. Plain and simple. Just like I would hold the last guy accountable for the things that he did. We can't have two standards. But the severity of the punishment needs to be commensurate with the severity of the crime. And nothing I'm getting from this indicates that the severity of the crime of the documents found by the Biden team is on par or in the same magnitude as the level of documents and the severity from the documents found with Donald Trump. And then found some more, and then found some more. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. I hope put your mind at ease a little bit about what's going on with it. We'll find out. Time will tell. We'll find out. Thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Add some comments if you have any questions, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a good night.